What is going on, everyone? We're here. We're live on the second channel, the Outpost live channel, which is very much turned into a Zack Snyder and Zack Snyder related channel. So when this article dropped today, I had to talk about it. Let's see who's in the chat. Who do we got here? Wake the fuck up, Samurai. Says Joker looks interesting. Yeah, with the crown of thorns on his head, I think a lot of people are probably going to take that and like run with it and try to shade the movie because of that one shot. Of course they will. Van Vidal, fuck Naughty Dog, so lost money. That's right. That's right. I agree. Magisk is here. What's up, Magisk? Tox Fox. No, I have to go. No, I don't want to miss this. Restore the Snyderverse. Restore the Snyderverse. That is what I'm talking about. That's a dream, isn't it? But so is the Snyder Cut. So don't give up on the dream. If you guys don't know, as we kind of let people come in here, I don't really want to start it out quite yet. I'll say hi to people as they're coming in. But this is what we're talking about today. We're talking about this Vanity Fair article, a huge article. Because I wanted to make a video, but I'm like, I can't just make a video. You know, I would have to make a couple videos because it's so long. I figured, fuck it, let's live stream. It's the first live stream on this channel since it's been monetized. So I figured, why the fuck not? No better time than now. Restore the Snyderverse. Yes. Movie looks awesome. Of course it does. Wonder what Zack reveals. Ooh. We got a lot of juicy details. Some of which we had assumed, some of which we've kind of heard before, but all put together like this from a mainstream media publication, it's pretty big. It really is pretty big. I said hi. I said hi too. Hello there. Mara is here. Hail, Zack Snyder. Let me know if you want on, Mara. Shoot you a link. Alex is here. Fade in. That's right. Review the Joker Jesus image. We'll get to it. It's in here somewhere. Yeah, this one. This one, Joker with fucking crown of thorns on his head. Again, this is Joker in the nightmare scenario after the entire world has gone to shit and has been taken over by Darkseid. So, yeah, who knows what Joker thinks about himself or about this image. But, yeah, we'll delve into that. Odd time for you to be live. Yeah, I'm off work today, my normal work job today, which is nice because I was able to do this. Chris is here. What's up, Chris? 187's here. Hello. Disco Dev. It is. It's off to a great start, Disco Dev. Restore Darkseid. Yes. Fade in. Oh, we got a couple. The first ever super chats belong to two gentlemen who have been here for a very long time. Alex McCarthy with a 100 super sticker. Thank you very much, Alex. And then Lost Jedi 22 with a thumbs up super sticker. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. We've popped the cherry. So there you have it right there. I just wanted to show you guys these first two super chats on the channel. There you have it. All right. So we're going to hop into that. Let me send the link out to Mara, who said she wanted on. Boom. This for Snyder stuff. Boom. Why does WB hate Henry Cavill? Why do they hate Zack Snyder? Why do they hate making money? I don't know. Yeah, I totally agree, friends. Like exactly. He's going to like see himself. If he does this, if he's the one that like helps, that truly does help Batman and is the one Batman needs to come to in his hour of need. Yeah, of course Joker will act like that. Of course he will. All right. Mara, how are you?
I am good. And yeah, I can see people, trying to weave some sort of narrative out of that just one still image, even though this is the Joker we're talking about. When has he ever done anything normal? And like you said, if he's the one Batman turns to, he's going to have that complex, like, like I'm going to be the savior sort of a situation. So it's like he's not exactly a sane individual.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll talk a lot about that. But this article is like, This article's about much more than just that. Picture, which is why I wanted to go live and talk about it. Chris Arcella for 5. I'm at work, can't stick around. Just wanted to stop by and say hi. Take care, Ryan. Thank you, Chris. I know it's a weird time for me to be live. I'm almost never, I don't know if I've ever been live around this time on a weekday, ever. So doesn't happen often. But I know Lethal's coming in soon here, but we'll just hop right into the article for now. Now, have you read this at all?
No, I basically woke up from a nap, jumped into the shower, and then I saw your tweet about going live about the Vanity Fair article, and other people were talking about it. So I'm like, I have to see what this is all about, because people were calling out, I guess someone they interviewed as part of the article talking about the toxic fandom part.
Well,
really, it's ahead of myself, but that's like what I started seeing.
There's one mention where the guy's like, "Do you advocate for basically people just shitting on people?" All right, hey, stop spamming, or I'll that's like basically the only thing I'll ban anyone from my channels are. Yeah, I should probably do that.
Yeah.
Let me get there. Let me get to it. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, that's the best way. Just say shut the fuck up. All right. Doom. We'll get Lost Jedi 22. We'll get him a moderator, and Alex can be a moderator because he's almost always here as well. So, all right, a couple of you guys got mod powers now. If you see anything like that, again, I am all about letting people say whatever they want in chat as long as it's not violating YouTube terms of service. That's pretty much my only thing, or spam. Those are the two things that'll get you banned from my chat. Basically, it. Why is it? Am I frozen? Oh, no, that's frozen. I see. Okay, I see what's going on. Don't mod me. I won't mod you. Yeah, for some reason, it's just Google Chrome's crashing. So I might fall out for a second here. If I do, it's just, don't worry about it. It'll be okay. Where am I at? Motherfuckers. Such fucking bullshit. All right. Close the program. All right, I'll be right back.
All right. Okay, I guess I'm going to be entertaining you people. How many of you are looking forward to the Snyder Cut? Oh, you're back? Okay.
I'm back. Get rid of this imposter. Fuck him. All right, there we go. Okay. That was weird, but that happens with Google Chrome once in a while. Devil-Eyed Ellis for 5. Okay, I'll super chat since Mara is here. Thank you, Devil-Eyed Elvis.
I guess they bring Mara
brings in the bucks.
Yeah.
Mara brings in the bucks. Okay, now back to this bullshit. I'm not going to ask. My weird other alt account is still here. Fuck him. Justice League, the shocking, exhilarating, heartbreaking true story of the hashtag the Snyder Cut, which I think is weird because I feel like it should be the hashtag Snyder Cut. That's how I would have probably titled it. But this is a huge sit down with Zack, right? With Zack. So Zack Snyder, the director of Justice League, has never seen Justice League. His name is in the credits as the filmmaker, but he's never sat through the version released to the world 3 years ago. His wife, Deborah, who produced the movie, advised him not to. And we're going to talk about Chris Nolan was actually involved in this as well, which I think is interesting. I was going to say that
Chris Nolan and Deborah Snyder saw, watched it basically before it was released. And Deborah, he said, came to Zack Snyder and said, "You don't watch it. Like, you do not want to watch it."
Exactly, which I think is crazy. Yeah. And it tells you, how much Christopher Nolan kind of is, even though he's not necessarily involved with production, that he is kind of invested with what Zack was doing. The fact that he just didn't want him to even watch what they did to his movie.
Yeah.
In late 2017, months after the couple cut ties with the superhero epic amid an increasingly demoralizing battle with Warner Brothers, Deborah Snyder sat in a screening room on the studio lot alongside Christopher Nolan, one of the movie's executive producers, as well as the director of the Dark Knight trilogy. She braced herself as the lights went down. It was just a weird experience, she says now. I don't know how many people have that experience. You've worked on something for a long time, then you leave and you see what happened to it. What happened to Justice League was a crisis of infinite doubt. Crisis on Infinite Earths. I gotcha. A team of executives who lost faith in the architect of their faltering comic book movie empire, and a director in the midst of a family tragedy that sapped him of the will to fight. Joss Whedon, a director from another universe, the MCU, left the Avengers after 2 movies and crossed over to rival DC, picking up Justice League not where Snyder left off, but remaking it significantly with extensive rewrites and hurried reshoots, just as the studio demanded.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say this is not just a pro Zack Snyder article. There are things in here talking about what they perceive to be his failures with Man of Steel and BVS and things like that. They do talk about toxic fandom a little in this, but there's also a lot of things that do reveal a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. Here it is. On November 17th, 2017, the team up between Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Aquaman, and The Flash didn't so much debut in theaters as crash into them. It was sneered at by critics, shrugged at by baffled moviegoers, and all but disowned by those who created it. Whedon has since been accused of unprofessional and abusive behavior on set. The director declined repeated requests for a comment. He left his name off the movie, except to claim a shared writing credit with Chris Terrio, who had written Snyder's previous installment, BVS. That is something that I think is so fucked up. Like
he wouldn't even take credit for it. Like
exactly. And the fact that we know that the majority of the theatrical release was directed by him, but it says directed by Zack Snyder, I think is very intentional and says that he wanted to stay far away from this movie, even though he came in to try to fix it.
Yeah.
Here's some random shots from behind the scene. Here's Gal Gadot. There's a mother box sitting there. There's just a random picture of her in like lingerie or a dress. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on with this, but maybe that's her outfit in Batman v Superman. I don't know.
No.
I picked the perfect time. Praise the goddess.
Yeah, you picked the perfect time to come up. Do you know what this is from?
Let me full screen.
Yeah.
No, I don't have that one in my collection.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I don't know either. Publicly, everyone.
Hi.
Publicly. Oh, hey, Lethal. Sorry, we didn't even say hi to you. Have you read this article?
Most of it.
Okay. So we just got started. They basically just set up how Joss Whedon took over, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Publicly, everyone close to the movie practiced their smiles and rehearsed their talking points in hopes of doing no further damage to the project. Not that it helped much. The movie earned $657 million globally, which sounds like a lot until you consider the nearly $300 million budget, including the reported $25 million for Whedon's reworking, plus an estimate of $100 to $150 million in marketing cost. Factoring the sizable cut theaters take from the box office and a return of only $657 million is a clear money loser. 6 months later, Justice League's box office was dwarfed by Avengers Infinity War, which flexed its muscles at $2 billion. Yeah, I guess.
Look, do you want to know what my initial reaction to this whole thing was? Like, how many times have like people like us said, "Who the fuck thought this was a good idea?" Turns out, not even the people there.
Yeah, well, they get into some Jeff Johns and John Berg stuff later. And it just, we've talked about Warner Brothers so much, how fucked up Warner Brothers is, and that they continue to not have a plan, not stick to a plan, just are very reactionary. And that's exactly what this displays.
Reactionary is the probably perfect word for it.
That's what I've been called. After their private screening of the Whedon cut, Christopher Nolan and Deborah Snyder emerged into the light with a shared mission. They came and they just said, "You can never see that movie," Zack Snyder says during lunch in his Pasadena office, a modernist series of cubes jutting from a hillside that overlooks the Rose Bowl.
So just to clarify that, Christopher fucking Nolan went up to Zack Snyder and said, "Don't watch that."
Yeah.
That is hardcore, man.
I know. I think a lot of people want to feel like Christopher Nolan's still very distanced from the DCEU at all. You know what I mean?
His name is literally in the Snyder Cut trailer.
He executive produced it, right? Yeah. Which there are very varying degrees at which you're involved at all in any way, shape, or form. However, just this fact that he watched it and he went to Zack with his wife and said, "Don't watch this," because of how badly they ruined your vision, which again was part of Christopher Nolan's vision for the DCEU, which is crazy.
Know how I love also like, people will praise Christopher Nolan and then forget that he like you just said that this is part of his vision for the DCEU. Like they'll criticize Zack Snyder and praise Chris Nolan. And I'm like, you do realize that, you know, while Christopher Nolan did not exactly have a big role necessarily in this vision, the fact that he's still coming to Zack Snyder and it's like has that relationship with them because they're still tied in what they started with Man of Steel. Like, you can't just sort of praise one and then criticize the other. Like, that's their shared vision. So it's either you don't like. So if you're not liking Zack Snyder's vision, you're also not really liking Christopher Nolan's vision either.
Yeah, and obviously, like, he was very involved with Man of Steel, very involved, and then did take more of the executive producer role in the in the next movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, he felt bad enough about it when he watched it. He told Zack never fucking watch it.
How fucking crazy is that, man? Like, you got to go up to your own friend with your friend's wife and say, just please don't watch that. Don't do that.
Because I knew it would break his heart, his wife adds. That might seem overly dramatic. It's just show business after all. But the Snyder's hearts had already been through a lot. The battle over Justice League was agonizing, but it wasn't the worst thing to happen to their family that year. Not even close. And again, this is a long article, guys. We're going to read the entire thing. What are you going to say, Mara?
I was just saying, yeah, like, you know, like I know, like we know what that other tragedy was that happened to him.
Yeah, and they're going to get into that a little bit. Professionally, at least, things have vastly improved. For years, DC fans and Snyder enthusiasts who worshipped his high-octane brawn fest like Dawn of the Dead remake, his ancient Greek Battle Saga 300, and his Twisted Watchmen adaptation. I don't know how twisted it is.
I mean, it's probably because they haven't read a Watchmen comic. So
I mean, granted, he did change the ending, but I do agree. Like, the comic ending would have been really weird to see on screen.
Yeah,
it would have been weird, but like,
blob alien with tentacles appears.
Yeah, but to call it twisted, like, tells me that this author most likely never read anything involving the Watchmen.
So. Yeah, that's true. That is kind of how that feels. They don't really have a great. I don't know. I wouldn't call it twisted. I would say it is an adaptation, but the only thing really that different is the ending. So I don't know. Beat on a drum on social media, demanding that Warner Brothers return Justice League to its original filmmaker and allow him to share his version of the movie. They dubbed it the #Snyder Cut. The fans could be clever, but many were horrifically toxic.
Yeah.
All of them were relentless, and they grew more numerous over time. Last May, they finally got their wish when Warner saw the potential to leverage all the free publicity to do something unprecedented from its upstart streaming service, HBO Max. Just to address this, many were horrifically toxic. Go ahead, Mara.
Well, I was going to say they're giving credit to Warner. I'd say it's more giving credit to AT&T coming in and saying, you sat on this for 3 years with people willing to give you money to see this. People like literally opening their wallets and say, I will pay whatever just to see this cut. And AT&T comes in and goes, you're all stupid. We're releasing it.
Yeah, and you know, when it comes to this horrifically toxic shit, we've said this about everything. Every fucking fandom, every group of people. I don't care if you're talking about people who go to car shows on the weekends. I don't care if you're talking about at a church. I don't care if you're talking about Marvel fans. I don't care if you're talking about Star Wars fans. Every single sect, when you get people together, there are going to be people there that are quote unquote toxic, right? That say shit that anybody can see that and be like, whoa. Every 99.9% of people are like, bro, nobody agrees with that, you fucking loser, right? That is just the case in every part of society. So to try to make it seem like there's just a big portion of Snyder Cut fans that are toxic is absolute lunacy. But that is what the mainstream media has tried to portray for years.
Well, yeah, they basically take the fringe elements, and they're literally fringe elements. You know, like the vast majority of the fandom, like, you know, you pointed out, will be keeping these people at arm's length. We're like, we do not at all agree with whatever this person is saying, even though like he or she is part of the fandom. But like every fandom has been like that since the dawn of fandoms for pop culture. You have the more fanatical elements within it, but the narrative is they take those fanatical elements and they paint the entire fandom with that broad brush as if we're all that fanatical about it, and it's not the case.
Yeah, 100%. And even if we are fanatical, like the what they label toxic is going to an HBO Max Twitter thread and saying #release the Snyder Cut. That is labeled as toxic by these people, these fucking weak people, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Thank you, Julian Hassan. Julian Hassan for $5. We appreciate the super chat. Also said keep fucking the haters. Yeah, we will. We will. All of them were relentless and grew more numerous. I said that. It's not uncommon for directors to lose creative freedom on big budget studio spectacles or for other filmmakers to step in. But it's unheard of for a studio to return an exiled filmmaker and offer back the power and creative freedom it has yanked away, especially when some of the most beloved and lucrative characters in pop culture history are involved. The Snyder Cut is coming on March 18th. I think you got a shot from Watchmen and a shot from 300. All right. For the director's devotees, it's Hollywood's ending for it's a Hollywood ending for a Hollywood story, but for a truly devastating thing that happened to Zack Snyder and his loved ones in 2017, there can be no fix, no do-over. In the throes of the conflict with Warner Brothers, the Snyder's 20-year-old daughter, home from college in the middle of a long struggle with depression, took her own life. If you do not understand what happened, if you've never heard about any of this stuff before, this is one of the main contributors to what happened during this entire saga. And it's the reason that the Snyder Cut fandom has raised over $500,000 for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. All those toxic people out there raising hundreds of thousands of dollars for suicide prevention.
Yep.
And the gall of them, how evil.
Just the audacity, the toxicity is just overwhelming.
Yeah. After 2 years spent largely focused on their other children and extended family, Zack and Deborah went back to work, a difficult but vital part of the healing process. When they spoke to Vanity Fair, they were completing Army of the Dead, a zombie-filled heist extravaganza that will launch a new multi-pronged franchise for Netflix, as well as restoring Zack's original vision for Justice League, which will be a 4-hour event for HBO Max that will raise money for suicide prevention programs that can help spare others the grief that shook his family. Let's see. I don't know if where this quote exactly is from, but we'll read it.
Are you looking forward to the Army of the Dead stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not a zombie guy, but I'm a Zack Snyder guy. I liked Dawn of the Dead was fine. I'm just not a zombie person. But
trailer is supposed to drop on the 25th.
That trailer, trailer's supposed to drop on Thursday, right? Teaser trailer is supposed to drop on Thursday. It releases May 21st on Netflix. So
yeah, around that time, May.
Yeah, that's right. Lost Jedi. Cavill did say that when he was asked about toxic fandom. He said, "Listen, people are passionate. That like he is a fucking comic book nerd and a fantasy guru. Like he is all about lore and shit like that too. So he understands where a lot of people were coming from.
Like that story where he's like, I missed the call to be Superman because I was playing World of Warcraft. I'm like, the phone.
Yeah, I love that story. Like, he's like,
yeah. It's such a lightning strike in the center of this whole saga, Snyder says of his daughter Autumn's death. It has informed everything we've done since. Their daughter's death was the reason the Snyders walked away from Justice League, realizing their fight in spirit was needed at home with their other children and with each other, rather than in a losing battle with a powerful studio. Now she is the main reason he decided to come back. At the end of the movie, it says for Autumn.
Oh, wow.
Snyder says,
yeah, I think like everyone was collectively fucking outraged when at the end of Justice League there was no like in memoriam or in honor of or anything like that.
Yeah.
No, like earlier in the article, like even Joss Whedon like wouldn't even take credit for it. They still put directed by Zack Snyder. So he he made a travesty of Zack Snyder's work, but still threw Zack Snyder under the bus.
Yeah, at the end of the movie, it says, "For Autumn," Snyder says, sitting in the shadows of a darkened editing suite, frames from the movie frozen on the screens around him. When he talks about his daughter, the otherwise scrappy, ebullient 54-year-old filmmaker always looks away. Without her, this absolutely would not have happened.
That's
yeah, it's rough.
That is rough. Real quick, like, what do you think of Jesus Joker?
I'm waiting for the Spurgs to come out. That's what I'm waiting for.
I know it's going to get a lot of hate, but like the way I see this Joker is like he's going to see himself as a figure that like people are coming to help save everything. You know what I mean? He is going to see himself as the savior. I don't even know if this is going to appear in the movie, to be quite honest with you.
That's what I was thinking as well. It might just be like a promotional image.
I think it's a promo image.
Chances are it likely will not. It's promotional. It's more like symbolic of how he sees himself. And this is also a man, like I said earlier in the stream, that where he does not have a grasp on reality. And that's how he's going, like, you know, it's probably indicative of how he's going to view himself when Batman comes to ask him for help in the post the apocalypse.
It's also Jared Leto, and he's fucking.
Well, man, yeah,
he's a pretty out there dude. That's why I think it's promotional.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot of people like, oh my God, can you really believe Zack decided to put an image like this? Really? Yeah, like that's what you're going to see from the freaks on Twitter. It's going to happen. Zack and his then wife, Denise Weber, adopted Autumn when she was 1. A little over 1, he says, smiling at the memory of her wild energy. Still an infant, but crazy. Autumn was slightly older than the couple's son, Eli. They had 2 more children before they divorced. Snyder had 2 sons with line producer Kirsten Ellen before marrying Deborah, his longtime producing partner, in 2004, with whom he adopted 2 more children. The filmmaker has often said being an adoptive father is one of the main reasons he was so invested in the story of Kal-El, a powerful being who became Superman thanks to the love and care of Jonathan and Martha Kent. More than 3 years after Autumn's death, Snyder still slips between past and present tense when talking about her. She's the only dork, he says of his family. She was the only fan. The rest of them, he shrugs. Today, Eli's interested in filmmaking, but Autumn was one of the only children who matched her dad's kid-like enthusiasm for gods, monsters, aliens, and superheroes. She's super creative, he says. She's a writer. She was at Sarah Lawrence to be a writer. Snyder swipes through his phone to show a selfie Autumn took in the Letterman jacket worn by Ray Fisher's character in Justice League. A football star horrendously wounded in a car accident, rebuilt by his scientist father into the half-robot warrior cyborg. It goes deep, man. This goes deep into this stuff. Autumn had been in therapy on medications, but the depression remained brutal. She was always wondering about her worth. What is my worth? What am I supposed to do? What am I about? Fuck, man. Snyder stumbles on his words, his eyes glassy. The conversation was like, of course you're amazing. What do you mean you're worth? You're worth more than anything in the world. And she would just be like, yeah. Snyder says Autumn used writing to vent her pain, channel it into words that might contain it or explain a lot. She adored sci-fi. Her main characters are always in this battle and want things from another dimension no one can see, but it's a serious war, and that's what was happening to her every day. I think so many people are in that battle, and they smile and nod at you. The fact that a studio had lost faith in Snyder's ability to make Justice League seemed mundane and pointless after Autumn's death. It's such a lightning strike at the center of the whole saga, and in a lot of ways has informed everything we've done since.
Fuck Warner Brothers, man.
Yeah.
That's just fucking cruel.
Yeah.
Inhumane, cruel.
And you know what the reason was? It's because
to get their bonuses.
They needed to get the movie out so they could get their bonuses because the movie needed to be out that year. Because they were worried they were going to get bought up by AT&T and none of them were going to get their bonuses. So they put out a dog shit movie.
Poor millionaires.
They put out a dog shit movie to get their bonuses that lost money for the studio. So the Snyders tried to keep going for 2 months after Autumn's death, finding solace in finishing Justice League. But by then, the situation with Warner Brothers had imploded. The official story was the Snyders were voluntarily leaving the movie due to their family tragedy, and that Zack had handpicked Whedon to complete the movie he had planned. Only half of that was true.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Fuck Warner Brothers, seriously.
Now this dives in. Like I said, this thing is huge. This goes all into Zack's history and everything. In 2010, when he first began working on DC movies for Warner Brothers, Snyder was promoted as a visionary director, though critics sometimes differed. Even his hits could be divisive. He'd emerged from music videos and commercials with the breakout remake of Dawn of the Dead, followed by the otherworldly, visual, audacious tale of the Resistance 300, which became a box office behemoth in 2007. Given his choice of projects, Snyder picked Watchmen, the iconic graphic novel, scorned the classic tropes of superhero storytelling, and explored the corrupting nature of power. His 2009 adaptation upended comic book expectations as Hollywood was building epic new franchises. Then he married a pair of box office disappointments, a digitally animated adventure about warring owls called Legend of the Guardians, and the surreal, and some would say sexist, action movie Sucker Punch.
Have you seen the interview of the chicks from Sucker Punch?
They fucking love Zack Snyder.
And they destroy the reporter for saying it.
Yeah.
Absolutely destroy the reporter for saying it. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not really a fan of Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
It just didn't really click with me. I know heaps of girls, ironically, heaps of girls that think it's like his best movie.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's his best movie, but I liked how it was. It's basically like these girls are representative of like mental like illnesses and things like that. The one girl's like whatever demons they're battling, whatever like even real life demons they're battling. Like this.
How ironic's that?
Reality and fantasy. What?
I said, how ironic's that?
Oh, shut up.
What? Fuck you.
Before being called to take on a legend amongst legends, Superman. When it debuted in 2013, Man of Steel established Cavill as the object of global thirst, just as 300 had done for Gerard Butler. Is this a woman? I didn't even see. Anthony. No, just talks about Cavill in global thirst terms. All right, weirdo. Snyder's twist was to present a conflicted Clark rather than the sunny alter ego played by Christopher Reeve. Snyder's Superman was willing to kill for what he thought was right, which many long-term fans of the character found reprehensible. I would kind of disagree with that. It's not like he was just out there killing everybody because it was right. He was forced into an impossible decision where he killed one person. Like, that is not an accurate portrayal. He was willing to kill for what was right. No. That's like the Punisher.
No, yeah. Well, like Superman, he like what, like 2 times like told Zod to stop before he snapped his neck. And people who criticize Man of Steel saying that Superman should have like gotten Zod away from the city, the people, and things like that. I'm like, did you watch the movie? Didn't like see the Zod was taking him back to the populace because Zod wanted to destroy humanity?
This isn't Dragon Ball Z. We don't go, hey, can we just go fight over here? Like, no, I'm here to kill all you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, did you watch the movie that you're criticizing? Like, I'm seeing Zod bring Superman back into the populace, and Superman's trying to get him as far away as possible and failing because Zod was bred to be a warrior, and you can see Superman's clearly out of his element fighting him for most of the fight.
My favorite one is why didn't he just put his hands over his eyes? Well,
oh yeah, like
they do that. They do that in the movie. They do that in the movie, and it fucks her up.
It doesn't work very well.
Yeah.
All right, which many longtime fans of the character found to be reprehensible. And though he still saved the world, he never felt like he truly belonged in it.
Christopher Reeve, look at what Christopher Reeves did to Zod.
Yeah. Like that's the point of that. That is kind of the point of the movie, right? He is an alien trying to find his place. That's what this whole arc was supposed to be about. But the studio had hoped to bring in more. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what I've been trying to understand is people can accept an origin story for Batman. Okay, granted, yes, he's human, so there's going to be an origin story to how he becomes Batman. But then they can't accept an origin story in a way for Superman. They expect him to know how to use his powers, even though he lived on Earth for 30 plus years with not only hiding his powers, but having no one to teach him how to use them. But yet they say like he should have been able to do all these things. But Batman wasn't able to do all these things. He had to basically learn as he went along, which is essentially what Superman did during his fight with Zod. He's not Superman yet. He's still learning. He's still becoming Superman.
Yeah. And that, like, there's a clip somewhere of, like, just someone on set while Cavill does that scream after he kills Zod. And it's, like, chilling and haunting because you feel, like, that pain. Because, like, that's the thing people don't understand is, like, he has to make this decision to kill the last, to his knowledge, the last member of his race, the last of his people. He's done everything he can to stop him, but he's decided to protect the people of Earth. And he makes that decision, and he pays for that decision. He pays for that decision in Batman v Superman, too. Like, whatever.
That kind of sets him on the path of, like, I don't want to be like this.
Correct.
Yeah.
The studio had hoped for to bring more than $668 million it made in the box office, but Man of Steel fared well enough for Snyder to get another shot. This time, bringing Affleck into the universe as Bruce Wayne in BVS: Dawn of Justice. The subtitle was a giveaway. This would be a prologue to Justice League, a superhero crossover event that some moviegoers had been pining for forever. Snyder wasn't just making big-budget tentpoles. He became an architect of the entire universe, and his casting choices continue to resonate. He chose Gal Gadot to play Wonder Woman in BVS and produced Patty Jenkins' standalone movie about Amazonian princess. I remember Gal saying to me, Zach, I was going to quit the business. I was getting ready to just move back to Tel Aviv and have a life there. I was done with Hollywood. I was going to do this one more audition. Then she came in and I was like, that's my Wonder Woman. Now she's the whole world's.
Yeah. Praise the goddess.
As with Man of Steel, Snyder continued to challenge expectations and norms, which sometimes led to the pushback from the studio and originalist fans. Aquaman, for instance, has always looked waspy. What is this? Is that white something?
Yeah, waspy, yeah.
In casting role for BVS, Snyder decided to forego the blonde-haired, blue eyes of the comic book hero in favor of the long, dark locks and smoky gaze of Jason Momoa, who had come into audition for Bruce Wayne. He's a Pacific Islander. There's a connection to the sea. What if he's Aquaman? He remembers thinking. Everyone was like, you're insane. That is not a thing. And I've said this before about Zach. You know, he does make casting choices sometimes. And like, if other people were to do it, you could be like, that's a virtue signal. They're doing that for woke points, all this stuff. With Zach, it just seems like that's the story that he wants to tell. And that's the character he wants to tell. Kind of like with Aquaman, a very intense physical dude. That's kind of what came up with Jason Momoa.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. And see, that's why I say I don't think these are going to be in the movie. Like, this is just Ray Fisher in that fucking little tunnel where they shot the Jared Leto pictures. I don't think that shot's going to be in the movie. But it does make you question why there's a random crown of thorns somewhere. But Blue-Eyed Scorpio for $1.99 a tip for the global thirst you've created, Ryan. Thank you, Blue-Eyed Scorpio. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you guys. 300 people here for the first monetized stream over here on RK Apples Live. You guys are insane. It became part of a pattern. The studio gave Snyder the power to go anywhere he chose with its most valuable characters, and he always went somewhere other than what they wanted, the director says. Still, to his credit, all the recent DC films have used Snyder's universe as a foundation. Even Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey, which take place in his version of Gotham. The upcoming Flash film will connect all DC films by ricocheting through multiple universes, with Keaton's Batman appearing along with Affleck's. But harsh reviews for BVS demolished Warner Bros. Confidence in Snyder. Even the director's champions, like production head Greg Silverman, were worried. When BVS came out, we did get a negative reaction from fans. It was disheartening for all of us. They don't mention how much they bastardize and cut to shit that cut to shit BVS. The theatrical edition is not the same as the Ultimate Edition.
No, they'll take credit when something succeeds, but when something fails and you know they have a hand in it, it's like we were just worried, and that's why we did this. And no, you screwed him over by editing to shit his movie. And then the Ultimate Edition comes out and shows us what we should have gotten in the theaters. And then we're like, this is night and day.
Clifton
Why
says,
didn't you give us this?
Wonder Woman raped an innocent man. That was Patty Jenkins. That was all Patty Jenkins doing. Don't put that on Zack Snyder. Zack had made these movies like 300 that were such crowd pleasers, and that was our job, to make crowd pleasers. And here we have made a movie together, and it didn't really please the audience. I'll read that later because it's a quote down further. Marvel movies, whose success exerted so much pressure on the DC team, hit on a formula that mirrored their comic book roots, telling stories about relatable, everyday people grappling with sudden phenomenon powers. Snyder's DC approached its superheroes from the opposite direction, depicting gods and immortals who are at ease wielding cosmic strengths, but strained to be human and connect to the ordinary world. The director envisioned this is operatic, tragic, and perhaps a more challenging type of comic book storytelling. But Warner Brothers feared it made its heroes gloomy, their abilities a curse. Diane Nelson, who was president of DC Entertainment at the time, says she appreciated that Snyder was more into deconstructing the familiar than just recapitulating it. Zack is a masterful visual storyteller who goes deep on individual characters. For some, that is amazing, and for other people, it becomes a problem because they have fixed opinions about who these DC characters are and are not. In 2016, as principal photography got underway, rumors percolated that Snyder had been fired from the film. That didn't happen, but Warner Brothers then chairman and CEO Kevin Tsuchihara did assign watchdogs in the form of DC Entertainment creative chief Geoff Johns and Warner Brothers head John Berg. The edict was clear. At least one of them had to be on set every day. Enter Geoff Johns.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Look, I do think Geoff Johns is one of the best comic book writers of our time, but he needs to stay the fuck away from movies.
Yeah, I agree. Everything he's touched is turned to shit. Like that. That's just the bottom line.
Yeah. And then on the other side, on the comic side, is the exact opposite.
Yeah, he does. I really enjoy Geoff Johns' stuff. I really do. I really enjoy Geoff Johns' comic book. Or his comic book things as far as Flash Rebirth, Green Lantern Rebirth, Brightest Day, Darkest Night. Like, Geoff Johns has written some great stories. Even for Marvel, he's written great stories before he came to DC. But it just does not translate to what is going on in these productions. Berg, who's now a production president at Stampede, recalls that duty as a low point. It was really tricky, not a position that I loved, to be honest. I tried to be forthright about what I thought creatively. My job was to try to mediate between a creator whose vision is instinctually dark and a studio that perceived, rightly or wrongly, that fans wanted something lighter. I was respectful of the director and didn't pursue things that were coming at me from the corporate side that I thought weren't in line with what would have made the best movie. Snyder knew why Johns and Berg were on set. You could say babysit, he says. Many filmmakers would have bristled at the intrusion, but he was gracious. It didn't bother me too much because they weren't that threatening. I just felt the ideas that they did have, where they were trying to inject humor and stuff like that, it wasn't anything that was too outrageous. God, this has been Ben Affleck from like just a couple days or a couple months ago.
I know. You could have told me that was 4 years ago and I would have believed it.
That's fucking crazy. Then you got Amber Heard as Mara. Not a lot of people probably going to like that, but she's in the movie, guys.
Well, this was filmed what, 4 years ago?
2016, yeah.
Yeah.
But Warner Brothers did nix some of the more sweeping notions for Justice League. This is interesting. Like adding a romance between Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne and Amy Adams' Lois Lane, who is mourning Superman's death in the previous film. The intention was that Bruce fell in love with Lois and then realized I will say this, Zack Snyder doesn't say romance. This person says romance. Zack Snyder says that Bruce fell in love with her. The intention was that Bruce fell in love with Lois and then realized the only way to save the world was to bring Superman back to life. So we had this insane conflict because Lois was still in love with Superman. You have this beautiful speech where Bruce said to Alfred, I never had a life outside the cave. I never imagined a world for me beyond this. But this woman makes me think that if I can get this group of gods together, then my job is done. I can quit. I can stop. And of course, that doesn't work out for him.
I like that. I like the part about how like Batman just wants to stop. Especially like a Batman this old as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It didn't work out for Snyder either. The studio said no. The downside of making epics in this is the studio's financial expectations. For Justice League, Warner Brothers wanted a big round $1 billion in the box office, which Snyder movies had never reached. In January 2017, the director showed his first cut to Tsuchihara. It did not go well, according to Snyder and others. Tsuchihara, who resigned from Warner Brothers in 2019 amid a sexual misconduct scandal involving aspiring actress Charlotte Kirk, declined an interview request. I'm sure he did.
I wonder why.
Yeah. Among the issues was the length of the film. There was a mandate from Tsuchihara the movie be 2 hours long, says Snyder. That order had a paradoxical impact because it meant eliminating much of the heart and humor the studio also wanted, like a comical romantic subplot between Ezra Miller's Flash and Kiersey Clemens' Iris, the latter of whom was absent entirely from Whedon's film. Snyder also saw the bigger structural problem with the make it shorter order. How am I supposed to introduce 6 characters and an alien with potential for world domination in 2 hours? I mean, I can do it. It can be done. Clearly, it was done, he says, referring to Whedon's version, but I didn't see it.
Well, he's half right. It was done, but not really.
But it wasn't good. I mean, they did it, but it wasn't good. Yeah. Reports that Snyder himself asked Whedon for help were false. All these people perpetuating that Zack Snyder brought his buddy Joss Whedon in here. He asked Joss Whedon to finish the film for him. That is all dog shit. Whether it's YouTubers that are saying that, whether it's garbage to your media outlets saying that, it's just not true. One of the studio
and proof that Whedon didn't just finish it. He reshot and refilmed 85% of it. That's not just finishing it.
Lethal, can you explain this?
Okay, let me be clear. Fuck Gabby.
It's some anime character. That's all I know. It's some anime character.
Attack on Titan. Watch Attack on Titan and you'll know.
There you go. Johns, one of the studio-appointed babysitters, had been planning a Batgirl movie with Whedon, and Snyder and others say Johns recruited him to do rewrites for Justice League. Johns' representatives didn't respond for a request. Once again, Snyder was gracious and even hopeful. I thought maybe he could write some cool scenes. I thought it would be fun. Soon it became clear that Warner Brothers was giving Whedon more and more power. He was not just advising during reshoots, but also do some directing himself. Snyder says he only had one conversation with Whedon about the studio's notes. That's it. Wow. Really?
I love how, yeah, that's so good. Like, all right, tell us what you got.
Yeah. Reeling
from yeah.
So Snyder only had one conversation with him. But yeah, I'm sure he was just the guy who wanted to take over. Reeling from Autumn's death and finding anguish in their work rather than relief, Zack and Deborah quit. We just lost the will to fight that fight in lots of ways, says Zack. All of us, the whole family, were just so broken by losing Autumn that having those conversations in the middle of it really became, I was like, really? Frankly, I think we did the right thing because it would have either been incredibly belligerent or we just rolled over. One by one, he called members of his cast and crew. I remember I was in the movie theater. Coincidentally enough, Ray Fisher said, I was walking into AMC right in Times Square, and I got the call from Zack, and he was saying that he had stuff to deal with the family and was having to step away. I had a trillion questions. My heart sank. Whedon rewrote and reshot about 3/4 of Justice League from what Snyder can gather. When fans ask him about the details of the movie that bears his name, he usually has no idea what they're talking about. Worst of all for Warner Brothers, Whedon didn't exactly save the movie. When we got to see what Joss actually did, it was stupefying, says a studio executive who requested anonymity. The robber on the rooftop, so goofy and awful. The Russian family, so useless and pointless. Everyone knew it. It was awkward because no one wanted to admit what a piece of shit it was. WB executive that did not want to say anything. And
it actually says piece of shit as well.
It does. It says piece of shit. Great reminder from Angel Cortez for $2. Joss Whedon saved Justice League. Campia. Yeah, John Campia. What a fucking tool. God, I love Film Gob did a video the other day. It was just like 5 minutes of John Campia being wrong.
So good. It's so good, man.
Yeah, this is so funny.
Film Gob is king.
Biggles Mets for $2. Oh, fuck. A money button. Yes, Biggles. We're monetized over here now. Thank you for the super chat, brother. I appreciate it. Justice League opened up on November 17th and cratered. Because Cavill had been making Mission Impossible Fallout during the reshoots, Whedon's teams digitally erased his mustache, which led to a bizarre warping of his face. The jokes fell flat, and behind the scenes, some of the cast had revolted. Fishers publicly claimed Whedon was abusive on set, and Warner Brothers executives enabled his actions. Godot told the Los Angeles Times she also had a negative experience with Whedon, which she reported to higher-ups. After concluding its investigation, Warner Brothers announced that remedial action had been taken, but the studio didn't offer specifics. Days before that announcement, HBO, a division of Warner Media, parted ways with Whedon on the sci-fi series The Nevers. Fisher continues to clash with the studio and has expressed dismay at the outcome of its investigation. Now, this is Diane Nelson again. The cast were very loyal to Zack, and they were hurting for him. It would have been a difficult environment for any new director to walk into. I have no doubt about that. But then how Joss chose to handle it, that is Joss to live with. In the aftermath of Whedon's version, a new narrative arose on social media. # release the Snyder Cut. Snyder gradually began to encourage the movement, but it was hardly the first thing on his mind. This is so much in this article.
So much, yeah.
Yeah.
From time to time, or from the time we left, says Snyder, it was not a great year, but we did a lot of stuff with family. It was really important. An important year. That year together became 2. After grieving Autumn and starting to heal with his family, he began to work on Army of the Dead, a visceral, funny, and exceedingly dark smash and grab story about an elite strike team that goes into a zombie overrun Las Vegas to retrieve a hidden fortune. Yeah, guys, take it for a second. I got a phone call. I'll be right back.
All right.
Yeah. Are you looking forward to Army of the Dead? Because I'm very curious about it. I'm like Ryan. I'm kind of over zombies, but I'll watch it. The idea of a bank heist and zombies is a pretty different combination.
Well, yeah, I'm only really looking forward to it because of how much I enjoyed his remake of Dawn of the Dead. I checked out of Walking Dead, so I'm not exactly looking forward to it from that angle. I just want to see what he does with that genre. Looking at what he did back in 2004. So that's why I'm looking forward to the trailer. I really liked his remake, so I'm looking forward to see what he does for this.
And they seem very committed to. Go on.
Mm-hmm. No, I was gonna say that comes out May 21st or something. So basically, they have 3 months worth of stuff where I'm looking forward to something.
All right, I'm back. Sorry, I was fucking just work shit. So, it's Eddie for $2. Film Gob also called out Jody's Corner. Screw Jody. Yeah, that dude's an absolute piece of human garbage. An absolute sack of shit. Literally, what do you say? 400 pounds of shit in a 250-pound bag. That's who.
You gotta bring a dark side on streaming service. Warner Brothers, you're bringing the dark side on streaming.
Yeah. Here we go. The zombie virus emerges from Area 51, so aliens may be involved too. During a day-long interview, Snyder giddily scans through the concept art for an accompanying animated series approving vehicles, weapons, and supernatural beings. He makes suggestions for changes to his team of artists, all working remotely via Zoom. Behind him on the wall-length bookshelf, there's a frame with 2 photos. Autumn and Eli in their bathing suits as toddlers, beaming with the same smiles as their dad as he assesses his monsters. The Army of the Dead movie is a lot to tackle, and the related prequel and animated series all the more all-consuming. Scott Stuber, head of original films at Netflix, says it's a chance to build a world with a filmmaker who's hungry to return. Zack went through something very difficult, and I think he probably realized, like we all do, it's okay to be vulnerable. For those of us lucky enough to know him and Deborah, he's a very soulful, kind, thoughtful human being. He's got this facade of big action movies and all those bravado things, but there's a sweet kindness to him.
Look, that's the thing. I mean, at the end of the day, love, hate the movies, whatever, man. We're living in a pretty interesting time where fucking people at positions of power within entertainment, they hate you. They fucking hate your guts.
Yeah.
Snyder's cool, though. Snyder's cool with that. He seems to actually really like and he's very supportive of his fan base, which is night and day difference compared to 9 out of 10 people in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Where did it go? What the fuck? Here it is. At the time of stories of abusive creators, Snyder's an anomaly. Even execs who are at odds with him agree that he's genuinely nice. I'd be stronger than that, says Silverman. He's a wonderful guy and fostered a wonderful working environment on his sets. He really valued the crew. He valued his cast. Snyder's movies tend to be about strength and what it means to wield it. Maybe it was inevitable that he'd eventually not only join the Snyder Cut bandwagon, but begin driving it. And that is the thing. These people that have tried to slander and lie about Zack Snyder, saying that people that are trying to push this narrative, like he tried to take advantage of a cause, he's tried to be very, very fucking conniving and manipulative. Fuck you people. Fuck each and every one of you. Zack Snyder is one of the most genuine people in Hollywood. That is why people gravitate to him.
Simple as that. Yep. Like his movies or not.
When Snyder left Warner Brothers, he took his laptop emblazoned with a Justice League sticker. On the hard drive was his original, nearly 4-hour version, devoid of visual effects, music, and fine-tuning that will make a movie. It was also in black and white. To him, it was a memento. He thought we would just show it to random people who stop by, like our friends or whatever. Rather than fade away, the demand for the Snyder Cut gained momentum over the years. Groups paid to have single-engine airplanes fly and release the Snyder Cut banner on both Warner Brothers and the annual Comic-Con gathering in San Diego. And fans pooled together to buy a Times Square billboard. A noxious contingent of followers, though, didn't just advocate for the movie, but also used social media to attack people who are critical of Snyder or their cause. Maybe they hope to silence dissenters, or maybe they're just trolls being trolls. In any case, film journalists with negative takes reported getting swarmed with insults and even threats. I will say insults, I don't give a fuck. Insults, I don't give a fuck. Threats, yeah, everyone is going to disown those. And those come, again, like I said at the beginning, every fucking corner of fandom has freaks and weirdos who will take it too far, and no one condones that. And you know what I mean? Everyone condemns those actions. But again, they try to paint the Snyder Cut fandom in that light because they're absolute garbage people.
But, you know, like, fuck mainstream media, man. Fuck mainstream media so hard up the fucking arse, dude.
Yeah.
They do this to everything, but they seem to really, really hate Snyder. And I don't know how he just hasn't fucking flipped out on them yet, man. He's got more patience than me.
Yeah, and just
lies upon fucking lies upon slander and the shit they say about his daughter. It's like the fact he's able to keep his mouth shut on that, man, that's something else.
Yeah.
And I'm not denying any of this happened because I have no proof either way, but what I've noticed from some of these people who claim to have received threats, more often than not, it's like one or two, and they use those to paint like 99% of the fandom. Like, do we agree with it? No, we disown that, like you said. But at the same time, it's like they like make it seem like they're inundated with like threats upon threats upon threats, and it's like one or two weirdos that come into their mentions. The rest of the people are like, release the Snyder Cuts, or they just insult the person. That's it.
And one thing I'd like to add on top of that as well, I mean, we're so used to, like, okay, a little bit off topic. CDPR, oh, we got death threats. Like, you got like fucking 5. And you made a big deal out of it. Yeah. Compare that to this.
Yeah.
Where's he don't see him throwing up the shield.
Lost Jedi is putting in a bunch of like box office results for the MCU and how it started off. And that is so exactly the point, man. And I love this. Iron Man, $700 million, big success. Hulk, 321. Iron Man 2, $748 million. Thor, $522 million. Captain America, $430 million. Right? Like, exactly. Now he's going to put in the first couple movies for the DCEU. And this is the point that no one understands when they say, well, that second movie just should have just been $1 billion movie. I agree. I think that putting Superman and Batman in a movie should be $1 billion movie. But the idea is that they were still building this up. They were looking at Avengers, billions of dollars, and not understanding that you had to build something up. And as Lost Jedi points out, Man of Steel in 2021 dollars, $750 million. BVS, $952 million. Right? Like
close to that billion.
Exactly. Very close to that billion, and far better than what this first couple movies of the MCU were. You factor in Suicide Squad, which made a lot of money. Wonder Woman, which made a shit ton of money.
Aquaman
was after Justice League, but they just panicked. They panicked. Even Suicide Squad, which was torn to shreds and shit, made money.
Yeah.
But whatever. These motherfuckers.
I know, it's just like go
on. All right. Unfortunately, I think that right for Pajiba. Are you kidding me? That's who they interviewed for this? Fuck you. Unfortunately, I think a lot of serious. Yeah, I think a lot of online fandom and fandom cultures head in this very toxic direction, says Kaylee Donaldson, who writes for Pajiba.com. It is especially strong from Snyder Cut acolytes, she adds, perhaps because they respond misguidedly to the director's tales of loner heroes in a hostile world. I don't get this from Birds of Prey fans or Shazam fans. It's because there aren't many. But are you really that retarded? I got a little bit from Joker fans, but nowhere near the same level. Nonetheless, she's looking forward to Snyder's movie. I think 300 is great fun. I think the first 10 minutes of Watchmen are some of the best things any superhero has ever done. Even if she doesn't end up liking the Snyder Cut, she said, I would rather watch one person's chaos than a committee's snooze fest. Drea Letamendi, a clinical psychologist who explores superhero archetypes in the Arkham Sessions podcast, notes that fans get especially aggressive on social media when they feel like they've been denied something.
Oh, fuck you.
That's not social media. That's in general. That's in general. Where did it go? What I observed is that enduring a false sense of ownership, which can manifest as abuse threats and strong, intense reaction when a story doesn't go their way. Fighting for the unseen cut of a film became a curse. In some quarters, the worst behavior metastasized. They're shouting and people are listening to them. Even if it's negative comments, they're getting positive reinforcement to continue down that path. The trolls may have actually held back the movement, like looters at an otherwise peaceful demonstration.
Oh my God. Wow.
What? Most of us were just tweeting, release the Snyder Cut. That's what most of us were doing.
Can you read that comparison again, Ryan?
Oh, yeah. The trolls may have actually held back the movement, like looters at an otherwise peaceful demonstration.
So, like peaceful protests from last year, like those peaceful protests.
Keep in mind what they mentioned earlier in this article. I gotta find it. Because they basically said this is completely unheard of. Like, this is completely unheard of. Here it is. But it's unheard of for a studio to return an exiled filmmaker and offer back the power and creative freedom it has yanked away, especially when some of the most beloved and lucrative characters of pop culture are involved. Yeah, it's unheard of for this to ever happen. But, it probably really hurt the movement. It probably really hindered things.
Oh, man, that comparison, like, what the fuck?
Snyder cringes at descriptions of the abusive tactics. I 100% think it's wrong. I don't think anyone should be calling anyone anything. I've always tried to give people in the fandom attention who do good things. Now, I don't know how this was taken out of context. 100% it was. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. But they brought in all this clinical psychologist, this SJW writer for Pajiba.com to say the Snyder Cut people are terrible. Then they say, Zack says, yeah, I think it's wrong. This is absolute bullshit. Because as we know, Zack supports his fans and the fans support Zack Snyder. You can't listen to these freaks who are trying to lump the 0.001% in with the rest of people in the fandom. They're losers. They should not be listened to. Fuck them. Fuck this piece of shit that wrote this. November 19 brought sustained hashtag push on Twitter, which Snyder promoted. Godot and Affleck were now calling for the cut to be released too. A few days later, Toby Emmerich, chairman of Warner Brothers, called Snyder with an offer. So you mean after all these fans did, that's what made Toby Emmerich do this? Okay. He says this, let's try again. A lot of people at the company, myself included, always felt badly that Zack didn't get to finish his vision of the film because of circumstances, says Emmerich. And so if there was a way to make it logistically and financially possible, with HBO Max did, and Zack had a willingness to do it, it seemed like a win for everyone. That's a pretty sick shot. Zach taking a picture right there. Initially, says Snyder, Warner Brothers just wanted to release the raw footage on his laptop. I was like, that's a no. That's a hard no, he says. And they're like, but why? You can just put up the rough cut. Snyder didn't trust their motivations. I go, here's why. 3 reasons. 1, you get the internet off your back, which is probably your main reason for wanting to do this. 2, you get to feel vindicated for making things right, I guess, on some level. And then 3, you get a shitty version of the movie that you can point at and go, see, it's not that good anyway. So maybe I was right. I was like, no chance. I would rather just have the Snyder Cut be a mythical unicorn for all time. Snyder estimates that it cost around $70 million to undo Whedon's redo. For that, HBO Max gets 4 hours of hotly anticipated programming and the Hollywood comeback story of a lifetime. Snyder himself gets nothing. I'm not getting paid, he says. He was paid the first time, of course. This time, he wants creative control, and foregoing a fee helped. I didn't want to be beholden to anyone, and it allowed me to keep my negotiating powers with these people pretty strong. That's pretty amazing.
That's intense.
Yeah.
And it shows how passionate he is about it, that he's doing it for free.
Yeah, this is a very personal thing for him.
Warner Brothers, it's Elmo's birthday. Snyder fan, fuck Elmo. Hashtag release the Snyder Cut. Kind of, yeah. That's what they call toxic.
Yeah.
Biggles for $5. Shazam is fantastic. You watch your mouth. There's just not like it made like $300 million. So I think Shazam's fine. It's not necessarily for me, but it's fine. I'm glad it exists in the DCEU. But yeah, I'm sorry, Biggles. Open Airlock says these leeches ride the wave. I hope they wipe out. Yes, yep. Open Airlock.
Fuck 'em.
Yeah.
Fuck these people. Fisher, for one, was eager to return. There's not a day that's gone by over the last 3 years I haven't thought about this movie, that I have not sat up at night thinking, what if there was a world wherein this thing actually does get released, says the actor. I probably should have let it go, but there was so much that we left behind in this version of the film. It's a completely different movie. As for the fan base, the Snyder movement has contributed $500,000 to the AFSP, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, through donations, sales of merchandise, and auctions of props. People have been saying, oh, they attack people, says Deborah Snyder, her ears tearing. But this fan base has saved lives. As much as they wanted something for themselves, they've come together for this amazing cause. You feel so helpless trying to help someone, and you don't know what to do. It's literally life or death, and I felt like we didn't really know where to turn. Rebuilding the story has always envisioned is what invigorates Snyder most. He can go as deep and dark as he likes. He can say to hell with DC's official timeline and let this alt version of the Justice League story wind up wherever he pleases. He's put Superman in a sleek black suit instead of the iconic blue and red. I mean, I would say the black suit's pretty fucking iconic.
Yeah,
comic book fans.
Someone who's not read comics.
He's added the Joker, Jared Leto. He has reshot the ending with a hero cameo that will blow hardcore fans' minds.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm interested to see what that'll be.
I'm gonna put my prediction in the private chat.
Okay. Mm-hmm. In what may be a divisive move, he's also presenting the movie in box set 3:4 format rather than widescreen, so one day it can be watched on IMAX. Some may be irritated seeing Justice League on HBO Max with black bars on either side. Snyder isn't troubled by that. The director is also layering some deeply personal elements. The movie closes with Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, performed by Alison Crowe, a friend who also sang it at Autumn's funeral. It was Autumn's favorite song. Now it has an elegy to her. Justice League, however else anyone feels about it, is made of the things and people Snyder loves too. But when you think about the catharsis of it, if I was a potter, I would have made some pottery to look for some way through this, he said. But I'm a filmmaker, so you get this giant movie. He wants people to love it. If some don't, he's all right with that, with all of it. Whatever comes, he's okay. What is my worth? What am I supposed to do? What am I about? Zack Snyder is answering Autumn's questions for himself.
Yikes.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
That's fucking heavy.
Yeah, that's heavy, dude. Mm-hmm. That's heavy. But yeah, so there it is. That is the Variety article. I'll probably make a couple individual videos about it, to be honest, just smaller chunks out of there, because there's so much to talk about. But And who do you got? So, do you want to share your prediction there, Lethal?
I think it's gonna be John Stewart.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a Green Lantern of some sort.
Yeah. You think? I'm not saying like necessarily tying into, but do you think it could be? Like they're doing the Green Lantern Corps on HBO Max. That maybe.
Nah, I think it's completely unrelated.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Listen, I don't want it to be Ryan Reynolds. I really don't. I don't think it is. To me, that would just be so like pandery, I guess. I don't know. But whatever Zach shows us, I know it's going to blow us away one way or the other, which is absolutely amazing. A lot of people saying John Stewart, just like Lethal was saying, John Stewart, Green Lantern, that would be crazy. You know, Lightcast is doing an interview very soon, actually. Pull that up. With, what's his name from, here it is. Here. This is what I'm interested in. We've heard the rumors. We've seen all the speculation, all the talk. The time has come to sit down with Sam Benjamin. This will be something you do not want to miss, an exclusive one-on-one interview. That's coming out 2 days from now. So 2 days from now, this should be happening on Lightcast YouTube channel. They have a podcast as well, obviously. But I'm really interested to see what happens. Because this is the person we have been told for years that we have been like led to believe was, you know, John Stewart. Sorry, not John Stewart. Sorry, was Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be interested to hear what he has to say since he's not officially on IMDb. I also heard some people talking about how do you get around doing something that Warner Brothers won't let you do. It's you don't actually hire that person, which I thought was interesting. So I don't know. A couple super chats here. Blue Eyed Scorpio for $5. Adding a coil in the basement. Service is super laggy for me. Got to dip out. Take care, all. Thank you, Blue Eyed Scorpio. Thank you for being here. You're awesome. Roof Korean is hanging with Winston Smith for $2, doing it for free. That's some early shit there. Yeah, it really is, and that shows you how passionate the motherfucker is. This was not some grift. This was not some scheme, right? He's not getting anything. Yeah. It's crazy the other people that want to believe this. Blue Eyed Scorpio of $2 to a furnace for clarification. Installing the AC. Well, there you go. Thank you, Blue Eyed Scorpio, again. I did really quick. We have 400 people in chat right now, which is nuts. I did just want to again talk about, I just started this channel. I'm trying to get a video up there probably later today. But if you guys care about gaming content at all, I'm going to be doing some more stuff over here on this channel. I just put it in the link right there. If you wouldn't mind going and giving me a subscribe while you're here. If you're interested in gaming stuff, if you're not interested, you don't need to subscribe because it's going to be focused on gaming. What are you guys' overall thoughts about that interview?
Well, there's a lot. Yeah. There is a fucking lot.
That article, I should say.
I don't even know where to start. There's just so much with that. Yeah, there's a. I'm probably going to read it again, like later, just lying in bed.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's little bits that we've known, but then to put it into the perspective of how much Warner Brothers did screw Zack Snyder over, but also not admit it. Basically, you know, like just to imply that they were just worried, and we're sitting here going, yeah, but you also butchered his movies. You like butchered BVS, and then it wasn't Zack's decision to bring in Joss Whedon; it was your decision to bring in Joss Whedon.
I guess if I had to sum it up, Warner Brothers sucks. Zack's a Chad.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I'd also like to kind of know Eric in the chat. Apparently, Lethal and I are hypocrites, and to that I say, fuck Perforce.
Yeah, dude. There's like, I know. Sam Benjamin never said he was Green Lantern. I know that. I agree. And I know Zach said he's not Green Lantern. I know all of these things. Mm-hmm.
Wait, do you mean like Broforce Eric said that?
Yeah, Broforce Eric. That's what I
said. He's a retarded teenager. Leave him alone.
Mm-hmm.
But what I will say is, listen, there was very clear hinting from Sam Benjamin. He never said anything. There was very clear hinting about certain things. I don't know who this cameo is going to be. I don't know what by the ending has been changed. Like, it has to be a Green Lantern, in my opinion. I don't want it to be Ryan Reynolds, but we'll see. I hope not. But
what makes you think it could possibly be that?
But because we heard reports from somebody who has had a lot of information about the Snyder Cut, about like Grace Randolph talked about that a while ago. Now this is before she had interviews with Zack and all these things, but she did put it out there, and it's not like she hasn't been on top of some of the Snyder Cut stuff. So I don't think it'll happen, because I feel like that would be such like a pandering move, and I just don't see Zack doing that. But it's just sitting there in the back of my mind.
I'd be genuinely surprised if it's him.
Mm-hmm.
My bet is Jon Stewart. Like, if I had to put money, I'd say it's Jon Stewart.
I hope it's Jon Stewart. I think that would be awesome. Who is it though?
Playing him? Oh.
Because Jon Stewart hasn't been cast in that Green Lantern series that I know of.
Well, what about that fucking... Oh, I always forget her name. The girl that's rumored to maybe be Grail. It's been fucking
the actress who played in the Mummy movie.
I'm just saying, like, you know, it's possible that they're keeping stuff under wraps.
But do you think that would be like mind blowing?
Grail?
Yeah.
Oh no! I'm just saying, like, it's just because we don't know who she's playing doesn't mean that.
Oh, that it's Grail.
Yeah, that we don't know that it's gonna be who's playing Jon Stewart. I don't think it's Martian Manhunter because he's already confirmed.
Yeah, because we know. Green Lantern is Hugh Jackman as comedic at the end of the credits. Yeah, maybe. It'd just be a big spoiler. Kilowog. I heard stuff about Kilowog and Tomare, I think, at one point. I heard rumors about that coming to Bruce or something. Yeah. That was such a long time ago, though. Yeah, just like the Martian Manhunter thing, we know about that, though. We know he's going to appear. We've already seen like stuff. So that cameo wouldn't be mind blowing to me. And why wouldn't they just say it?
Well, yeah, especially since, and I covered this in a video, reading an article that we know, like, story, like whatever Zack has on the storyboard, he shoots. Now, whether or not it ends up in the film is an entirely different story. But whatever he has on the storyboard, he shoots. And what he had on the storyboard was the scene where Martha visits Lois Lane. It's revealed when Martha leaves that wasn't Martha, that was Colonel Swanwick, aka Martian Manhunter. So that's like somewhere in the movie. So that wouldn't be, so to have him also come back at the end as some like mind-blowing cameo wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be this person doesn't understand what they're talking about. Yeah, if it's Idris Elba, or where'd it go? If it's Idris Elba as Jon Stewart, I'll stand and clap. Stand and clap. Orion? Oh my god, dude, that'd be crazy.
Right.
Actually. That would be fucking nuts.
Shit. Oh wow.
Thank you, Barack. I see you in the chat. Appreciate it, man. The cameo is Joss Whedon as a homeless person holding a cardboard sign that says "I failed."
Sold.
That'd be good. Who else was on set? Additional photography, the best I know. Cyborg, Mara, Flash, Batman, Joker, and Deathstroke. Right? Yeah. So, but I mean, Deathstroke had already filmed scenes for this before, so a new ending, I don't know. It's going to leave us a lot to talk about, though, over the next month before we actually see it. But I do want to say thank you to everybody here. A random stream in the middle of the day. Was not expecting to do this, but almost got to 400 people watching, which is absolute insanity. You guys have anything to plug before we take off?
You go first, Mara. Send a message real quick.
Okay. I don't really have any necessarily video planned today. I'll try to put one out tomorrow. But if I'm gonna like plug anything, it's Open Air Lark Policy. I don't know if he's still in the chat, but he's doing a stream about it'll be 3:15 my time, so like 2:15 his time. So like celebrating a subscriber milestone, and he sent me the link, and I'll be popping on that shortly whenever he has that going.
So that's 2 hours from now. So yeah.
So I'll be there. So come check it out. Basically,
I'm gonna try to hop on there for a little bit as well. So
yeah, same. I've got the link to that. I might try and hop on for a little bit, but I'm going to have a video up on my gaming channel pretty soon as well. Actually, I might just record a quick video about this as well. Just my initial thoughts on this on my main channel, and then I'm going to re-upload my last live stream on my live channel, and then probably go on Open Air like Policy's channel for a bit, and then later today I'll be on Mark the Cyborg's channel with X-Ray Girl talking about the last episode of Attack on Titan.
God, that's a lot of shit going on.
A lot going on today.
There you go. We will see Green Lanterns. I think we will. We have to. We have to. Orion. God, if it's Orion, that's crazy. But thank you to everybody here. Appreciate you being here on the second channel, which is quickly becoming very popular for me to upload stuff to. Thank you to my guests. We'll talk to you later. What should we do to play us out? Here we go. Talk to you guys later.